Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back down under the mat. We are back. It has been a couple of weeks since our last full proper episode. We're back here to review WWE AAA Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank and talk about some other news and stuff that we've missed over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
How was Japan?
Oh, it was great. Lots of good food, lots of Pokemon cards, lots of good times.
Not any wrestling, unfortunately.
No wrestling.
Didn't line up.
Didn't even watch any wrestling while I was gone. So the storylines that unfolded in the lead up to Money in the Bank and Worlds Collide were brought to my attention as I was watching the shows.
So you're riding on the seat of your pants like the rest of us are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good.
No, it was good. It was kind of nice to have a little break in a way.
Yeah.
Like just sort of not. I don't think detox is the right word, but just kind of. There's a lot of wrestling to digest every week, so it was kind of good not having to try and squeeze that into my schedule every week.
Because you missed your Raws and your SmackDowns. You missed Saturday night's main event. You missed Double or Nothing.
Yes.
You missed the 4-hour Fighter Fest.
Yes.
Collision Dynamite back
I've
to
seen
back.
results from stuff, but I have not watched anything.
Okay. All right. Well, we won't talk about all of that here because that's probably a lot to go through. So
Yeah, way too much.
you're back this weekend. We've done the podcast now, ready to roll, and it's Money in the Bank.
Ready
weekend.
to rock and or roll.
So let's talk. I mean, obviously the lucha masks might give away
What we're going to talk about
a
first.
little bit. Worlds Collide.
Great show. An amazing opportunity to showcase Lucha Libre on a bit more of a global platform with WWE's YouTube channel hosting that broadcast. A lot of exposure for new talent as well. One got over very quickly and very easily with a certain set of antics. So we'll touch on that.
I liked with this too, like that it was Corey Graves and Conan on commentary.
Yeah,
and
something a little different too.
that was good. But I really enjoyed the fact that like Conan was given the opportunity to explain at the start of the show what Lucha Libre is.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people, probably the mainstream wrestling fans, WWE fans and stuff, don't quite appreciate what Lucha Libre is. It is pro wrestling, but it is much more flippy and entertaining and comedic in a lot of senses as well. They are much bigger characters. So when you get your Pentas and your Rey Phoenixes and stuff and your Andrades on Raw and SmackDown, yes, they're classified as Lucha Libre, but that is purely moveset alone. Yeah. I think when you actually really go, like we've gone to the local Lucha Fantastica shows in Canberra when they've come around. And although that is in general a lot of the local wrestlers in masks, which they don't really want you to know that, but it's pretty obvious when they hit the same pile driver as a finishing move. But in general, like that's much more of a, like they engage with the crowd, they hang around with the kids, they throw things in and out. And you could see that on this show tonight. And the way that Conan is explaining to everybody is this is what Lucha Libre is. Yeah. You're not going to get, rest holds. You're not going to get hot tags. You're not going to get, power moves and different things like that. It's not the same pacing. It's not the same design as what you normally see on TV. Appreciate that this is a different style of wrestling. And this is what, Mexican fans and Lucha Libre fans and all of that South American stuff is. And I think that this was a really fun contradiction to what you see on TV otherwise. And I think that getting the guys like, I think the key example for me, that the one that stood out to me the most on this show was Joaquin Wilde. And
him and Cruz Del Toro.
Yeah. They are great. And all their stuff on NXT and stuff has been good. And they're a fun not developmental, but like who's a developmental team where you say enhancement talent team?
That's
what I mean.
That's one. Enhancement talent.
They look great and they make whoever they're versing look even better. But then you put him in a match like this and you let him actually shine. He's fantastic in the ring.
Them actually getting to showcase the roots of their abilities on the show was amazing. And they did kick off the show. So we had...
Well, but before that, the match started.
We had Rey Mysterio pop up and do a lovely little promo talking about the importance of AAA and Lucha Libre in general and giving everyone a nice little prop up to kick off the show. So it was great to see that.
It was good that he was there.
A lot of people commenting on the fact he's come back with a beard.
I did notice that.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I was like, he's grown it back.
Yeah.
Back to old little Ray. Well, he's old and he's little, so that kind of works.
That is a very correct statement when you put it that way. It's very factual.
Yeah.
But yeah, I noticed that too. Like I thought it looked like cool under the mask. It's like, a little bit different there, Ray. I like it.
Hopefully he's recovering well.
Hopefully he does it so that he can shave the beard and just have the moustache, and then him and Dom can have a moustache match.
Rumor is he's going to be fighting Vikingo if he's cleared at AAA Mania.
Oh, Triple Mania.
Yeah, August 16th, I believe it is. So 17th in Australia.
August or July?
August.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I knew it was, okay.
Another thing in August to add to the list after Clash in Paris and double night SummerSlam.
Great.
It's going to be great. Great fun. Great fun. But yes, LWO did kick off the show with Lince Dorado against Dr. Wagner Jr. No, wrong part. Octagon Jr., Aerostar, and the crowd favorite on Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank when he made a brief appearance, Mr. Iguana. And I saw him coming out during the entrance, and I was just like, what is this guy doing? He had a little iguana toy like in his mouth, and he was slithering down the entrance ramp. But like getting into the ring and like watching his antics, and it's a puppet. So he puts it on and he starts like biting his competitors.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Absolutely loved it.
It was fun. And like there was no, I mean, obviously I don't follow AAA enough to really care about like their storylines and their characters and stuff. This was just super fun to watch. I don't know if there was a heel face team in this. I think it was just, let's get 6 guys out there and have a bunch of fun.
At one point, Lince Dorado made that decision because he got the iguana puppet and started stomping on it, and the whole crowd just booed him. And I feel like he was meant to be like the face team.
Yep, absolutely.
Being with LWO. But yeah, he made a decision to get some heat on himself, and it paid off.
There's so much fun in this match, man. Yeah. Like, all the way that they set up the start of it, and they each sort of they tagged in each other, and they had a minute with each person, and they went out and they tagged, and the next person came in. Like,
nice fluidity.
They all showcased their skills, which I think was really fun. And the character work of Mr. Iguana, like just book him in a world title.
Big things coming for Mr. Iguana.
He can dethrone John Cena for all I care.
Absolutely.
Like, he was so much fun.
The crowd would go wild.
Oh, like it was just the fact that he was like face painted and had a toy iguana that he was wrestling with, but you know what he reminded me of? Blue Man Group.
Okay.
Right? In that they don't talk. All of everything,
it's all their facial expressions, and their emotions.
All in their eyes, and the way that they get you engaged and feel emotions based on how they look.
Yeah. And he was even doing the little like lizard thing where he was just going, every now and then,
and just everything in his eyes. It was so much fun. The flippiness of this match, everyone doing tope suicidas and stuff off the top, and the one where it was Cruz del Toro, right, where he went from corner to corner and then up into the corner and then over the top. He's just phenomenal. Like,
let him showcase his talents on WWE more.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Octagon Jr. ended up picking up the victory for the AAA team by pinning, I believe it was Lince Dorado after hitting a 450 splash.
Yes.
And then Dirty Dom and Liv Morgan sitting ringside watching the match. Dom grabs a mic, starts cutting a promo. Everyone loves Rey Mysterio so much, but
he's a deadbeat.
Yeah, you got to remember he's a deadbeat. And then that leads to Dom attacking Octagon Jr. and the rest of his team.
Well, no, I didn't Octagon Jr.
I jumped out of the ring, actually.
And got into his face. And then Dom shoved him.
Yeah.
And then he pulled Dom over the thing and they started brawling.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Dom puts his title on the line at Money in the Bank. So Octagon Jr. pulling double duty among several
lot of
other
double
candidates.
duty this
There is a lot. There's 3 in particular. One we will touch on next. So
I don't know if you don't. I don't think it's 2 different people.
No, it's Stephanie Vickers, you idiot.
Oh yeah, no. She had 3 matches in 24 hours, but like everyone that's saying, Chad Gable wrestled 3 times. No, he didn't.
Oh, we'll touch on that later. It's one of the best parts about the men's Money in the Bank match. Stephanie Vickers and Lola Vice would have their women's tag team match next against Dallas and Chick Tormenta.
Yes, I liked the presentation of this whole show in that
they had the AAA like entrance, like the Titantron setup.
But they also had pre-match vignettes on all of the people.
Because
I have no idea who Chick Tormenta is.
Yeah.
And so I have to know from what Conan tells me and what this video package is to understand, they're huge. And the fact that, like, I remember this, that he kept on saying that they wrestle with men all of the time and they trained with men.
And that's why they're so tough.
That's why they're so big and they're so strong and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. And then you watch them throw like Lola Vice and Stephanie around. You're like, oh yeah, okay,
Yep,
I get it. I see what we're doing. This was fine. This was a fun little showcase. This was 100% hey, Stephanie's back in AAA for a match. Showcase her.
Which, I don't know if she was ever actually in AAA. She
was
was
she
CMLL.
CMLL,
Yeah.
was she? Yeah,
Which is, I think a lot of people were calling that out about when Andrade and Stephanie were at the AAA announcement when they got acquired by WWE.
Oh, because they weren't.
It was because they were CMLL.
Yeah, okay.
So it's kind of like the rival.
But they
mixing
did.
company.
They definitely mentioned that Delise and Stephanie had wrestled before.
Yeah. Oh, they had a ton of history. So
Yeah, okay.
I think they mentioned that Delise.
Yeah, we'll go with Delise.
Yeah. Trained Stephanie. So
Oh,
lots
okay.
of history.
March of
with
the
them.
Apprentice type. Yeah, okay.
I think the highlight for everyone for this match.
Well, the tease at the start of the, what did you call it now? The Devil's Kiss?
Yeah, Devil's Kiss. And then that getting reversed in very nice, powerful way by
Absolutely.
Delise.
Yep.
Love to see that. But then we got the double Devil's Kiss with Stephanie and Lola.
And the whole crowd just go, Oh, Booker, you're a meme. So good. Yeah, look, that was fine. Stephanie picks up the win with the SVB. It was what it was. It was a good showcase of all the women. Yeah, that Devil's Kiss move is so ridiculously over now.
Oh, it's crazy.
Oh, the one in the Money in the Bank.
I reckon we need to, as a collective wrestling community, we need to rally behind Stephanie, and it's her move. And then any time that Charlotte does it, we just boo.
Oh, surely she's got to give this one up now.
She got it.
She
got nothing.
You've
She
been
does it
absolutely
worse.
outshone, Charlotte. Just
Yeah.
leave it alone.
Just accept defeat. Tuck your tail between your legs and walk away. Moving on to the second six-man tag match of the night with Legado del Fantasma going up against Dr. Wagner Jr., Pagano, and Psycho Clown. I got to give a shout-out to Psycho Clown for his lucha mask with the tongue being attached to his mask. I absolutely love the look of that. All sparkly, had the WWE and AAA logos on his mask as well. So great to see
I
that.
liked the backstage segment with the Legado del Fantasma talking about the WWE patch and stuff and how they have to represent WWE and what Lucha Libre has become and on the big stage and what they're doing.
Yeah.
I know there was obviously all of that tension they've been doing on TV between
Berto
Angel and
Well, yeah,
Santos.
that was going to be one of my questions was, is that all done and dusted now? Like,
Well, I mean,
did they actually resolve it on TV, or are they just pushing it aside for the AAA Worlds Collide?
well, I think
show?
you can push it aside and say that, we have to, despite, our disagreements with each other and what we've been doing, we have to defend our brand, our WWE and what we are, and we come together as boys again. And I think they looked sick too. Like the cargo pants with all three of them, they looked the part. It looked really cool.
That was a great look.
And the fact that, all of these guys have previously been luchas and don't wrestle in masks anymore, because I'm pretty sure Santos lost a hair vest mask match.
Yeah, at one of the Triple Mania.
Triple Mania.
Yeah.
So that's why he doesn't wrestle in a mask anymore.
Which is kind of funny because when he came in for the Cruiserweight Classic,
Yeah.
he was in a mask. And then he won and then he immediately demasked.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But this was fun. I don't think this was as fun as the first match. I think the first match was better.
Yeah, I can agree. I can't recall too many spots that would rival that first match.
No.
I don't think it entertained me as much as that first match, and just the quick pace of it, the high spots, and all that.
And they were
sort of
both
stuff.
about 15 minutes.
Yeah,
So,
well, it was still a good match. Legado del Fantasma did pick up the victory as well, so the second notch in the belt for WWE in the Worlds Collide show. Moving on to the Fatal
it's 2-1.
Four-Way.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Fatal Four-Way. Ethan Page defending his NXT North American Championship, which I was kind of surprised about him winning while I was away, because Ricky Starks had only just gotten the title a few weeks prior.
Did you watch that match between him and... Oh, mate.
I heard it was brutal as shit,
was-
though. I
there
saw
was-
the twisted grin on the chair.
Yeah, with the
Jesus.
feet up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
Ridiculous.
Yep. It was a
Yeah,
really
just-
good match, though.
Just the fact that Ricky lost the title so quickly. I've
Yeah.
seen that he's
he's
on
going
the
up
ups
to the main,
already.
main card.
Which is crazy. Put Ethan Page up there.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of talk, obviously, of Ethan Page being one of the people for Seth's faction.
I'm not mad about Bronson being there.
No, not at all. I think we did say that at one point.
Yeah,
And
you
we're
did.
But how
you
do
did.
how do
And
I justify
I kind
it?
of shot that down, but then looking at it retrospectively, it's kind of after that match that I had in Saudi, where Bronson got beat, but then he was up within a couple minutes.
The respect was there.
Yeah, the respect was there, and that's what
Yeah.
Led to
That's where you build these
linking.
bonds from.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ethan, I think, has shown so well that he's got a character that can carry NXT.
Yes.
And I think Ricky hasn't had that yet because I don't think he's like needed to carry NXT. He's just been in, had a really good couple of storylines. It's good. You can shift him away, and I don't think that shifts the I guess the power balance of what NXT is. Whereas taking Ethan Page out might, because he's been there for much longer and has much more of a stance with multiple different people, with Sean Spears and with Trick and all that sort of stuff. Like he's had that influence. Whereas you take Ricky out and put him up on SmackDown, I don't think you notice that in NXT as much. So I think that's probably why
that's a good point to raise. But this Fatal 4-Way match, let's get back to it. Javon Evans, Ray Phoenix, and Kid Laredo.
Laredo Kid.
Yeah, Laredo Kid, thank you. This match was absolutely amazing.
This was wild.
I rewatched it again this morning, and because I only got to watch half of it before Money in the Bank started. So I rewatched the whole thing, and I was just thoroughly entertained throughout everything. And I've listed a few of the really holy shit spots that we had. So Javon Evans flipping out of one of Ray Phoenix's Hurricane Runners and landing on his feet.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Your boy's jumpy. I think is that what his song says?
Yeah,
your boy's bouncy.
Bouncy. Yeah, there we go. Bouncy.
He's ridiculously athletic.
The fact that he did a springboard flipping leg drop to the opposite side of the ring was ridiculous. We had Ethan Page body slam Ray Phoenix onto Javon on the middle rope.
Yep.
I don't know what to call it. Corey didn't even know what to call it. I've listed it as a Spanish Fly or Canadian Destroyer DDT variant with Kid Laredo and...
Laredo Kid.
Fucking,
You'll get it eventually.
And Ray Phoenix.
Yes.
I sat there and I watched it. I was just like, what do we call this? What is it?
Wild.
Amazing. That Javon springboard, and then to finish off the match, I'm going to do it again.
Go.
Laredo Kid.
Yep, correct.
Getting pulled into the way of Javon Evans' top rope cutter.
Yep.
Javon getting thrown out. Ethan hits the twisted grin for the win.
1, 2, 3.
Genius in-ring awareness by Ethan Page to retain his title.
And that's kind of been what he's done in NXT, is he has won his matches by being the smarter wrestler. He's not always deserved the win. It was the same when he won the title in the first place, right?
he
fell on the pin.
He fell into it.
So I think that's obviously a part of the story of his character that they're trying to sort of continue with. But the fact that when it was a couple of weeks ago and they said whoever's going to win between Ethan and Ricky was going to defend it at this Worlds Collide, I was like, that seems weird, Ava. Like, why are you putting that match together? And then, when Ray Phoenix showed up, I was like, oh, okay.
Here we go.
And then Laredo Kid, I was like, all right, so we're just going to go flippy, we're just going to go wild, and we're going to put on a show. And
Ethan Page really held his own as well. He
Absolutely.
pulled out some nice top row moves that he doesn't usually do. So props to him for upping his in-ring ability to match everyone else's as well.
Yeah. And I think this was just, again, that super fun showcase of what Lucha Libre is. Like, you let all the guys, you let Ray Phoenix go.
And these little, rope hops everywhere.
Oh, it's just so much fun. And this was just so much fun, this match. Like, I can't stress, if you want to just go and watch 2.5 hours of just fun wrestling and just go see how athletic people can be, just go watch this on YouTube, because this whole show, there's a lot of, story and ads, and there was stuff with the weird-looking owner of AAA with a very plastic surgery. Her hair is
what's with that? That was the thing that got me.
The hair is a bit much. That was really weird. But
I don't understand the hair.
There was a lot of you skip through all that and you just watch bell to bell stuff.
Just
like
watch
this.
the matches.
It's it is a real fun show.
And speaking of fun, the main event, Vikingo versus Gable.
I'm so sad that this wasn't Alberto Del Patron. I can't believe he lost the title.
So sad. I can't believe it. Thank God. But for two competitors who have never been in the ring before, to put on a match of this caliber,
Chad Gable is so good. Just give Chatty Daddy his flowers, please.
Yes, please. Because this match was phenomenal.
If you haven't seen Vikingo before, he is brilliant.
That's one thing I wanted to mention. Sorry to cut you off.
No.
But I feel like this is only the second time I've seen Vikingo.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I saw him versus Kenny Omega.
Yeah?
But that's many, many years ago now. And that was one of the last times I saw
that
Vikingo.
long ago?
It was a few years.
Yeah, maybe. That was in AEW?
Yeah. Anyway, second viewing of Vikingo, I'm going to call it, for me. And I was just flabbergasted. Just his sheer ability to consistently hit 630 splashes.
Yeah.
What the shit, dude? Like,
He's
an animal. Like, I've seen so many clips of his matches and all the crazy spots that he hits, but sitting there just watching it and soaking it in. Big things.
He's obviously, I've seen him in TNA. He's done some matches and stuff over there. I've seen him do the AW stuff. I haven't watched any of his actual AAA. I did watch the majority of the Alberto finish because that was obviously all messy and stuff, and there was title shots involved and different things. And the problem obviously was that everyone knew Vikingo was going to win because he was booked against Gable on this event the week after that AAA title match was on. So WWE kind of shot themselves in the foot giving that one away, but I think that made the most sense, especially when you've had Vikingo since the AAA acquirement from WWE. He was at WrestleMania. He's shown up on Raw and SmackDowns before. Yep. He was at the last. Was he at the last pay-per-view?
I don't know, but I know he was in Gable's qualifying match for Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
and that's why Gable wasn't in it.
Yeah, because he took Gable out, and then thankfully somebody else that looks a lot like Chad Gable qualified for Money in the Bank. Anyway,
yes.
Actually, we're in the same boots. Did you notice that?
Yes. With the old CG.
Yeah, but that's just because Grande Americano
lost his boots. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big fan of Chelsea Green. That's what CG stands for.
No, what they said on Money in the Bank show. Way back was saying that El Grande Americano lost his boots, and Chad Gable was kind enough to lend him his boots so he could finish the match.
See,
Chad Gable, he's just a top-notch bloke, you know.
Chatty Daddy his flowers, please.
Yes, top-notch.
But this match was so good. I remember I watched it with Lockie last night, and even he was saying, like, is Vikingo's knee hurt? Or is he selling? I was like, no, man, he's selling. And he's just really good at doing it.
Yeah.
All of the stuff inside and out of the ring, the way that they were sort of given a bit of extra lenience to sort of go outside and do moves.
The shooting star off the apron to Gable. Well, I mean, Gable got out of the way. Got his knees up, but still, like, seeing that, the leaping Canadian Destroyer off the second rope
Mexican Destroyer.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I kind of annoyed that they just renamed it the Mexican Destroyer because Penta started doing it. Like, it's the Canadian Destroyer. That's the move name.
Yeah, but it's the same as Rey Fenix doing the Mexican Muscle Buster. It's just a Muscle Buster.
Yeah.
Stop trying to rename everything.
Yeah. Anyway, like that leaping Mexican Destroyer on the apron from the second rope. Ridiculous. And then earlier in the match, the 630 off the top rope to the outside onto Gable. Oh, what can't this guy do?
And then, getting him in the ankle lock, the way he was selling his knee, and then still hitting the 630 to finish it. Like, it's...
And props to Chad Gable for actually hitting a moonsault.
Yeah.
Through a table, no less.
That was huge. Surely, Uncle Dave, this is a 5-star match.
Come on. This was a pretty damn good match. I think the start was not slow, but it was very methodical about two competitors like feeling each other out, lots of reversals, a very technical start to the match, which Chad Gable, of course, he's going to excel in that field. But yeah, absolutely love that match, start to finish.
And I love the story that they have been telling for so long now that Chad Gable can't beat luchadors.
And he still can't.
He still can't, but he can put on really, really good matches.
Really good matches. Let's shift on to Money in the Bank now. Kicking off the show, the Women's Money in the Bank match featuring Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie Vaquer. Second match of the day, third match within 24 hours.
Yeah, wild.
What an absolute champion. And she's going to be on Raw.
Of course she is.
And she's going to be wrestling it on Raw again. Like 4 matches within 72 hours or some shit. Ridiculous.
I think that this match it was, for us internet wrestling fans, there was a moment where you've got like Alexa, Stephanie, and Rhea in the ring, and every to the roof, right?
Yeah.
But I think that maybe sort of was a hindrance to me on the match because my expectations with all of these women in there was so high.
It didn't quite
reach that level.
Yeah.
There was a few botches. There was a few missed moves with stuff.
I think like the main botches I noticed was Roxanne and Julia with the ladder and Rhea.
Yeah.
And trying to like crush it, but like the bracket was up and it wouldn't crush.
Andrade had one too in the main one where he slipped off the ropes and didn't quite get like when
It
you're
happens,
doing
man.
these kind of spots in ladder matches and stuff, there is going to be that kind of, level of error, caution of error between, where you hit stuff. So none of it was bad enough botch that ruined any matches. But I think that having such high expectations for what we know Stephanie, Julia, and Roxanne can do, I also just don't think that they had the same chemistry with Rhea, Alexa, and Naomi as they could have, because the match they had on SmackDown was really fun, and that was probably the first time a lot of them had worked together. And I think that this is possibly a hindrance on the WWE schedule these days, in that there are less house shows.
Yeah.
There's less time that all of these wrestlers work together to get these matches and stuff going. 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years ago, you had, Gunther against Ilya Dragunov every weekend for 8 weeks before they had a match on pay-per-view. So that match was perfect. You don't have that at the moment. So you're not getting, Rhea and Stephanie or Rhea and Alexa working together for weeks to get it.
Yeah.
They're just jumping into the performance center or in a ring, practicing a few things and going out and doing it. And they're all professionals and they do a really good job of it. But I think it kind of, like you said, it just takes some of those spots away where they just don't quite have the timing and chemistry down like they would normally. Yeah. But I also think that the expectations from the internet wrestling community was way too high.
I think so as well.
And the crowd...
I think the expectation for us on the result as well.
Well, we wanted Money in the Bank. Yeah. And so that was sad. As soon as I saw that Naomi was winning, I was like, oh, damn it. Like, this makes sense that she's the favourite. It makes sense for her to get the briefcase.
Yeah, all expectations of Money in the Bank aside, Naomi was a fantastic choice. The way that she's rejuvenated her career with this new character change.
Oh, for sure.
And I've been calling it out for the past 12 months. Naomi needed a character change. And look how positively it has affected her and her standing with the wrestling community as well. She's now Money in the Bank. Big E gave her massive, massive props, which brought her to tears on the post-show about the fact that she's reinvented herself this late in her career after being wrestling for 16 years.
Yeah.
And it's now gotten her Money in the Bank and almost a guaranteed title.
And I think that we both had said that on our predicting the next lot of WWE champions is that we'd had Naomi to win this. I think that the cash-in is going to be interesting to see how that plays out with her now being Miss Money in the Bank. Does she use it to stop Jade? Like if Jade gets a shot at
I was literally just
Tiffany?
thinking that, and I feel like that's probably the best way for her to cash in.
I think that's the way that you do it too. I think that you let her maybe go for Queen of the Ring, get beaten or whatever. You get Jade to win the Queen of the Ring, have the match with Tiffy. Jade finally beats Tiffy, gets the title, and then she gets cashed in on straight away.
I was thinking more so like cashes in during the match to prevent Jade winning and then wins the title.
Oh,
as
yeah,
a
that could
triple
work
threat.
too. Yeah, that could work too. But yeah, like I think that this is a plot device to stop Jade getting the title.
Yeah, absolutely.
The
Whenever
match.
Bianca comes back as well, I'm sure that'll come into
Well, she had a
fruition as
promo
well.
on SmackDown.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, so
like I said, I have not watched any.
She's still
wrestling.
injured, so she had her fingers taped or whatever.
Yeah.
But when it was in Tennessee, she was on there, and so she cut a promo before the Jade Naomi Nia qualifying match. So Bianca was there watching it.
Okay.
And her mum, who's in a wheelchair, was in the crowd, and like
Whose mum?
Bianca's.
Mum? Okay.
And Naomi went over and like was bad mouthing her and stuff. Like they're
Yeah,
really
that's
pushing
coming.
it.
That's coming.
That Naomi Bianca feud's coming too.
I could see that coming to fruition once Naomi gets the title, perhaps after like costing Jade,
Yeah.
and then retaining the title against Jade. Then Bianca comes back, makes a return, and then that kicks off that portion of the feud.
But back to this Money in the Bank match, I think the move on the ladder of Rhea,
The Devil's Kiss
the Devil's
on the
Kiss.
ladder, amazing,
That was phenomenal. Burying Rhea under a bunch of ladders was great.
genius.
The dueling code reds off the ladders. From both, like that was just amazing.
And the fact that they had like the ladder set up in the middle, and then the ladders propped up either side, and did it onto them, madness.
It was a really good spot. I think Alexa looked great at the start where she was beating them all up and like she looked really good in the match. I think every person in this match looked good.
Yeah.
The problem I think that there was for the broader WWE audience, they had no buy-in to Roxy, Stephanie, and Julia yet.
Yeah.
Especially Julia. Because like if you hadn't watched NXT a lot and you don't know who she was, she came up to SmackDown, got signed, qualified into the match, and then was in Money in the Bank. And you're like, who is she?
But I feel like that's like the prior months of Stephanie making little appearances on Raw and SmackDown each week was to get her a little exposure, and hopefully people
Agree. But this needed to be
that.
3 or 4 months worth of exposure before this, not 1 month.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Roxy and Julia. When they came up after WrestleMania, they were tagging together and stuff, and now they're not.
That was just so odd. They were tagging together for a bit. They lost 2 matches, and then they just split.
And they didn't really they did work together in this match, but not a whole heap. And like that to me, I think is where the storyline of this match fell apart.
Yeah.
If you had a few more months to build them up on the main roster and give them some feuds and a reason as to why, why does the general crowd want to see Rhea versus Stephanie? Other than, the internet knowing
what they know.
Like
I feel like the finish just kind of fell flat a little bit to me. Because like Rhea and Alexa were teaming up, taking out the field, and they were going against each other. And then Naomi just comes in, knocks them off the ladder, and then wins.
Yeah.
It felt kind of anticlimactic.
Oh, absolutely was.
Because usually you get like that long build. I felt like that was just the beginning of a build, and then it was just over. So, but anyway, well deserved for Naomi. Great to see her with this refreshed character and making big strides in her career with this win. Hopefully she doesn't become one of those statistics where she fails to cash in. Moving on to the second match of the night, Dirty Dominic Mysterio defending his Intercontinental title against Octagon Jr., who I kind of noticed, and I was going to research the similarities to try and figure out what the go is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, is it a similarity with shapes? Because his outfit, very similar to Pentagon.
Yeah, but that's what Dom said as they were walking back. He goes, I've beaten Pentagon, I've beaten Octagon.
Yeah.
Can't you now tell that I'm the best Dom? And then just, like, you're all bitches or something.
He's the Octodom. Terrible joke.
It was a bad joke. Look, 5-minute match. It was fun. It was there because I think Triple H had heard on the internet throughout the week, everyone's like, 4 matches is not enough for a pay-per-view. What are you doing?
Well, the show was like nearly 3.5 hours. So.
Yeah, and I mean...
I feel like tacking on that match, the show still would have been 3 hours, which is perfectly fine for a PLE.
But I think it also, what they needed to do was have a direct tie-in between Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank. And this is what that was. Yeah. Because anyone that had seen or was watching Worlds Collide for the Luchador stuff would be like, oh yeah, this is super fun. Oh, hang on, what do you mean Octagon Jr. is going to be on Money in the Bank? Like, against Dom. Sweet, I'll go watch Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And then you've got the reverse of that, where everyone's like, how come this match, who's this Octagon Jr. guy? Where did this come from?
And then they're going to go back and watch Worlds Collide.
Yep.
Genius marketing.
It works.
But yeah, quick match there. The second Intercontinental Championship match of the night, Becky versus Lyra. These two women stole the show again.
Yeah, they really good in the ring.
Really good in the ring together. There were a few points in the match where I was kind of skeptical of a couple of spots. The second rope manhandle slam getting kicked out of.
I thought that was done. I thought that was finished.
Yeah, I thought that was done and dusted. Both of them hitting their finishes to each other on the outside. And then I thought they were going to do a double count out. I was like, what the fuck are they doing? And then it was like 9.99999 and they're both back in the ring. And then Dan's favourite thing.
I swear to God.
The bloody roll up to finish the match. God damn it. And they do this, and it's not just WWE, it's pro wrestling in general. They do this so often where two great people, great women, great men, however they want to identify themselves, have a great match. They have an amazing match, and then a roll up to finish the match. What are you doing?
I get the storyline behind it though, in that they threw everything at each other.
Yeah.
And they've tried as much as it was, and Becky was the one willing to cheat.
Yes.
And so she held the tights and got the 3.
I still don't Bailey, understand. Which I was expecting.
I think I get it more with men, right? When you were wearing like full length tights, when someone holds them down, like it holds you into the pin more. But like Lyra's wearing underpants, man. Like that's all they are. How is holding that causing any more leverage on the pin? I don't get that. That's holding the tights for women in that sense.
Don't read.
I know I'm overthinking it. It's just a heel trope of holding the tights. I get it, but like I was like, that doesn't make that roll up any better than the roll up that you just had on you. So, but this match, like you said, the chemistry between the two of them has been really good. The promos for the last few weeks has been really fun. The way that they've built I think that this feud, well, we said this from the start, this feud is what the IC title needed. It needed Becky to give the title the rub. This is not giving Becky more accolades. This is not Becky Hogan winning more titles. This has nothing to do with that. And stop with the Becky Hogan shit, man. No. This is not about Becky. This is about the IC title. And now you have someone who is a absolute first ballot Hall of Famer in Becky Lynch is now your IC title holder.
And propping Lyra up in that process as well. And because this was, what, their third match?
Yes.
Third match? Yeah.
Well, because they had you in this feud, do you mean?
Yeah. Or is it only their second?
Second.
Okay.
Was it second?
I don't know.
Because they had
comment down below.
Because it was the tag.
I can't remember. I've been so out of the loop.
I'm also out of like how many because there was they tagged together at Mania.
Yeah.
Then they lost the titles.
Yeah. Okay. Second match.
And then they had the match where Lyra won, and we all thought Becky was going to win at Backlash.
Yeah.
And
now they didn't have one
match.
at Saturday night's main event though.
No. No, they didn't. Because the Becky was in a qualifier and Lyra came in and cost her, and that's when this continued. So this is the second match. So I think the third match will probably be SummerSlam or Evolution 2, where it's the other way around, where it's Lyra chasing Becky, not the other way around. These two are just so good together, and I love to see a really good women's match on a card. Like obviously there's the spot fest that a Money in the Bank match is, and that was a brilliant highlight of what the women's division was. But then a one-on-one, Ted's favourite match, a one-on-one match between two of the best workers in the division. This was really good, and again, like you said, I think it kind of stole the show in terms of just in-ring capability.
Oh, absolutely. What almost stole the show? This men's Money in the Bank.
What almost stole the men's Money in the Bank was Solo Sikoa.
Just up and up. I listed Solo and his antics are my MVP for this match.
I wanted Solo to win this. Solo in the Bank.
What a story it would have been. But I feel like we'll quickly jump ahead and then we'll come back. Jump. Braun and Bronson came out to help Seth. Mm-hmm. Fatu and JC came out to help Solo.
Yes. Because that was
cleared
set
the
up
field
on Friday in SmackDown.
Cleared the field. Jacob's in the ring with Solo, helping him up the ladder, and grabs his ankle. The turn finally happens. Takes Solo out of the match. But his antics leading up to that, I feel like Solo's, and I saw an article, I think it was this morning, they're going to try and make Solo face because his antics are getting over with people.
Absolutely.
They've gotten over with us. Just
for sure.
Totally.
I loved all of that. You know what? And this is
the way his facial expressions when he's doing those mimics are just untouchable.
The way that everybody over the last 5 years gave Roman his flowers was through the pandemic. Roman Reigns, his character work and his small nuances in the ring with his facial expressions and all that sort of stuff made him the tribal chief, and that's why everyone was so behind him because of all the little things he did. And Solo, I think in that early part where he was the stoic, he didn't talk, that like the pre-WrestleMania 39 matches with Cody Rhodes were like, Solo was scary as an untouchable, and I love that side of him.
I do my best Solo impersonation.
Yeah, you're doing a really good job of it, man. I'm super scared. But then when he had his own bloodline and it was like the Bloodline 2.0 and he was in charge, that just didn't really hit with me. I think Solo sort of lost it there.
Yeah.
But like since Jacob, this Solo and like all his facial expressions and he's like, no, you know what I mean? Like,
you know what I mean?
Just picking on Jacob.
Yeah,
with
we
that.
know what you mean.
And then in this match where he takes out like El Grande Americano and he's like, thank you. And then he does the penta walk as he's walking through. Like every little bit. It was perfect. And I think that look, it's hard not to turn Jacob face from what he's done. Jacob's going to the moon now after this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would not be surprised that Jacob wins the Royal Rumble or something along those lines. Like I reckon that's like in his path of like he could be WrestleMania main event next year.
Yeah.
But I think Solo needs to keep what he's doing and
slowly win more people over.
Yeah.
I feel like reading that article this morning, it's way too soon to try and turn him face.
No, absolutely.
We've just had this turn happen. Obviously, a match is coming for the United States title at some point. I assume they'll maybe try and drag it out until SummerSlam and have that be a big marquee match.
Well, Damian Priest has a couple of times on SmackDown said he's still coming for the title. So I think that what you could do is you could book Priest to win matches or whatever to get a shot at Jacob. And Solo is around and he just costs Jacob all the time. And then Jacob still wins because he's Jacob and he's an absolute beast.
Yeah.
But that way you keep Solo and Jacob feuding without having to have the match yet. And then you can get to SummerSlam and you can have Solo and Jacob.
Yeah, agreed. Back to the men's Money in the Bank match and all the ridiculous spots that happened. You said it perfectly. This match just kept escalating and escalating. The double ladder spot where we had Seth. He was in an ankle lock with El Grande Americano.
Yep.
And then he stayed upside down. I was like, what are they doing?
Oh, and then
Penta comes up.
Yeah.
And then Andrade does a sunset powerbomb to El Grande.
Yep.
And Penta suplexes Seth off the ladder onto another ladder, resets that ladder back up, and then hits Andrade with a Mexican destroyer on that same ladder.
Wild.
And then the El Grande spot where he's outside and the ladder's
That was such a good spot.
against the pole, and then another one against the turnbuckle, and he just climbs up and he uses it as a little like slingshot to get over to the main ladder to get to Penta.
Headbutts Penta off with the
Yeah,
metal
by the
wood.
time he'd put his little metal plate in. Oh, it's just like...
And then LA Knight just climbed
even know
up
what to
right
say.
behind him, grabs him and angle slams him off. Like
Yeah.
it was
crazy, dude.
the
Like,
big spots in this match were big. And obviously, like you said, Bronson and
Braun and Bronson.
Braun came out. JC and JC and Fatu came out. There was so much happening in this match that it never felt like it was just a spot fest. It felt like this is a spot fest with a million things happening and you've got to keep your eyes on everything at all times. And Andrade was filler. Unfortunately, LA Knight, who I think a lot of people probably wanted to win, was filler.
Yeah.
Penta was filler. He was. This was, to me, this was the way they set it up on SmackDown, where
This
you
was
had
Seth and Solo.
Seth coming out and saying that he wants to win this briefcase to take over the WWE and, be John Moxley without being John Moxley, because it's very similar to what the Death Rider storyline is. Putting in the briefcase.
Imagine they just rehash that gimmick and Seth wins, but then he's just like, you all don't deserve to see this title. And he just do the exact same thing and they
keeps
put
it
the
in a
belt in the
briefcase.
Money in the Bank briefcase.
But like once that happened on SmackDown, and then he was confronted by, because I think he said, "Who's going to stop us?" And then Solo and Jacob and that came out.
okay.
I was like, "All right, so this is the story you're going to tell us in
It's
the match."
these
that it's-
two or bust.
It's the power of the heel factions. Who's going to run WWE? And I don't think Seth needed to win this.
No. And
I think at any point, and I mean, it's the same argument that I think most people had to why Rhea didn't need to win and be Mummy in the Bank, is that if Rhea wants a world title shot, she's Rhea bloody Ripley.
Yeah.
You just walk in and say, I want a number one contenders match. She wins it, and then she gets a title shot. So she didn't need Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
I don't think Naomi
I just
from
wanted
that same thing.
Mummy in the Bank. I just wanted the briefcase, to be
Me
honest.
too. That would be so much fun. But this is the same with Seth, right? I don't think Seth needs it. But does this put the Money in the Bank briefcase in a high-profile faction in the limelight of Raw on Netflix? Yes, it does. Do I actually think Seth is cashing in on Jey Uso after Gunther's match on Monday? Yes, I do. I think this is happening really fast.
Yeah.
Because I think that the power for Seth isn't in holding the briefcase and threatening who does he cash in on because he's already got that power. I think the power for him is having the title.
Yeah.
So just give him the title.
Yeah. Just do it. Just do it. It about sums up that men's Money in the Bank match. Let's move on to the main event, which... I don't know. I think I kind of lost interest in this match at the start, and then it brought me back in towards the end. Yeah. How did you feel about the match?
It was a house show main event.
So I wasn't the only one that thought it was a bit lackluster. Okay.
I mean, this was, I think someone was saying, I was watching some video that like everyone was like, oh, how did, John Cena get pinned? Whatever. And I was like, Cody Rhodes last year in Money in the Bank was in a tag match and got pinned by Solo. So like this is a precedent that they've had before, and that when they have these big tag matches, the champs can get pinned for storyline purposes.
Roman got pinned for the first time in many, many years.
By Jey.
In a tag match. Yeah. At Money in the Bank 2 years ago.
I think that that this was a better choice than the rumored Travis Scott John Cena stuff.
Apparently.
He wasn't showing up for training and stuff, and that's why he didn't get him.
Yeah. And I think maybe they didn't offer him enough money or something. I remember reading something while I was off about why Travis got replaced by Logan Paul in the match.
I think this was a better choice. I think Logan was brilliant. Like, to me, Logan was the star of this match.
Give him his damn flowers.
You can hate Logan Paul. as a person. You can hate Logan Paul as a YouTuber. You don't have to watch his podcasts. You can think that he's an absolute douchebag. You can not drink Prime. I don't think I care. I don't think he really cares because he sells enough of it to everybody else in the world. Yep. But you've got to start respecting Logan Paul as a wrestler. He is not a YouTube celebrity that is in the WWE anymore. He is a wrestler.
Yep.
He is a WWE superstar.
And his drone spots. Amazing.
So the fact that
he just like calls it over.
But then
just, like,
held
grabs
it for the suplex, and I was like, geez, that's a cool spot. And then he still got splashed with it in his hand. Oh,
that's so great. I feel like that angle could have been done a little better, like Jay being on
the other
the
side.
turnbuckle that the camera drone was facing.
Yes.
Because then he was just like gone, it was just out.
Yeah,
But
you wanted the
capturing that in the actual drone shot after the suplex would have been phenomenal.
That was the Asahi moonsault from the ropes through the table. Like,
you can't fault
give
him
him his
anymore.
flowers.
Yeah.
He's so the pulverizer is a cool looking finish.
And he hit it on someone the stature of Cody as well.
Cody took it really well too.
Yeah.
Like nailed it.
Great.
This was clearly all storyline stuff. You would have missed some of the things with Logan and John and cutting the promos and stuff on the SmackDown
about polishing
before.
a peacemaker.
That was funny.
I saw that part.
That was a very funny one. But like the stuff on SmackDown where, you know, we'll touch on this on our weekly show with the crowd chanting that we want the truth and John Cena saying you can't handle the truth. And then him saying that the truth of this is that we are the best and Logan will be, I will retire as the last real world WWE champion and he will be the world champion. And as much as I hated seeing it, Logan holding that title up, I was like, they're going to do this.
It looked good.
They are absolutely going to give him a world title at some point.
Yeah.
And
It's just a matter of time.
I think he deserves it because the work that he has put in what, 4 years? I think it's about 4 years since he sort of that first match at Mania with Miz.
It was 38, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
4 years.
Regardless,
4 years.
he's exponentially gotten better. John is clearly in his final run. You can tell he's not phoning matches in, but like he's got a set things that John Cena will do.
Yeah.
This match to me, the first like 10, 12 minutes of it was just beating Jey Uso. It was boring.
That's kind of what took me out of it because I could see what was coming. Cody gets the hot tag and he makes the comeback and then he wins, but did not expect the way that they won.
No, so obviously Logan puts Jay through the table on the outside, and the referee for some reason decided I better go check on them.
Yeah, I better just pay attention to them and nothing else that happens in the ring. So John grabs the title, hits Cody.
Ruining wrestling.
Yeah, going to set up for the attitude adjustment for the victory, and then he gets attacked. He gets speared and attacked by a mysterious hooded figure that definitely did not look like Drew McIntyre.
I thought it was, when I first saw the spear, I was like, oh, it's Roman. I was like, but why would Roman come back for Cena?
Nah, I immediately thought it was R-Truth.
Oh,
I was like, once he got up from that spear, I was like, holy shit.
Oh, the second I saw his ankles,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, that's not a white guy.
No.
I know who that is.
Yeah. R-Truth is back. Holy shit. What a surprise.
So well done. And the fact that, I mean, everyone, the whole online internet at the moment is where we worked. Did you get worked with a shoot brother? Like, who knows? I don't really care.
No.
I think this is a fun story.
The fact that it didn't get spoiled as well. Like,
Yeah.
Thank God his return did not get spoiled.
Yeah. And, I mean, I think that they probably made this change within the last 48 hours.
Yeah.
So it was I don't think a lot of people knew that this was actually the finish.
And, like, you even saw Kathy Kelly post-show, like, when she's talking about
so
R-Truth
emotional.
returning. Like, she was just doing her usual shtick, talking about the return, and then she just starts tearing up, and she's like, I don't know why I'm getting emotional.
So
you can see how much of a positive effect R-Truth had on the entire backstage personnel.
100%. I said to you when we were watching, because we didn't watch this together, I texted you as this was on, and I said, the men's Money in the Bank's on before the tag match. Does this mean that we're cashing in on Jay tonight? Because I thought, why would you not have the men's Money in the Bank close the show? Yes, you've got Cena, you've got Cody and stuff, and I was like, but that's only a meaningless tag match. That shouldn't close. Men's Money in the Bank should close the match. And then it was on first. I was like, this is weird. They're going to cash in. Something's happening. Did not think it was this.
No. It was great to see that. And, like, we'll touch on it now. That was one of the big points that happened while I was off and why we had a little bit of a hiatus was the recent few releases from WWE Carlito, Valhalla, Sarah Logan, and R-Truth. And WWE came out to clarify that R-Truth was a not getting the contract renewed situation, not a he's being released situation.
They all were. All three of them.
Oh, okay. All three of them were. And they all came out on social media and made their own little posts saying, hey, thank you all. Contract's not getting renewed, so this is some of the last time you're going to see us, and yada, yada, yada. And the sheer backlash about R-Truth specifically, we want Truth chants, and trending on social media almost immediately after that. And then it just continued for a week and a half up until his return.
Yeah. And I think them using that as, well, now calling it storyline. It's not a storyline.
No, they had to pivot.
They've definitely pivoted. We'll talk about that on our weekly podcasts and stuff. But in context for what Money in the Bank was, the fact that this happened and then within like 30 seconds or whatever when this had finished, the WWE Twitter account was like, you want the truth, we gave you the truth, and he was back.
Yeah.
So they went straight into it. When Papa H was asked at the post-match thing about it, he said, did you like the story? Are you involved with the story? Like, that's it. It's not all story to Triple H, we know. But they're going to try and spin this as this was all part of their storytelling and all that sort of stuff. And I think that it's probably it's definitely what the fans wanted. And for me, you know, Truth is old. I don't want him to have a world title run at his age. I don't need that. No. I think he deserved more than just being, you know, let go from the end of his contract. Yeah. So I'm glad that he's going to get that opportunity. And this, I think, makes the whole Money in the Bank event feel a bit more extravagant. It adds a bit more to it. You've got your two new Money in the Bank, Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank. You've now got Seth, who I think cashes in early this week. I think he takes Jay out. And that shifts the whole power dynamic of the WWE. Yeah. But then I think you've got Naomi, who has done such a good job, like you said, creating this heel character, now has this briefcase as a constant threat. Yes. Do I see her going across to Raw and taking on Io? No. But would I not mind that, you know, Io has a match with, I don't know, not Alexa Bliss or, you know, Stephanie against Io, just they run it back one more time and Naomi's music hits and he's like, oh, here we go. Because I think when Tiffany had it, it was so clear that she was cashing in on Nia.
Yes.
She was never using it on anyone else. They never sort of teased that prospect.
No.
Whereas I think Naomi, you could maybe tease the prospect like, oh, she's definitely going for Tiffany and Jade. But then something goes wrong with it, and then maybe she scurries away as the heel and then goes to Raw and like, can I get Io with it instead? No? Okay, maybe I can get Zelina with it. Maybe, and like you can let her just as the heel try and pick on everybody. Like, I've got the briefcase, I have the power, telling a story for a while that I don't think that WWE have done the last few years with the Money in the Bank.
Yeah. They need to put some doubt and some mystery on how she's actually going to cash in that briefcase.
And then this Truth and Cena stuff, the way that like Cena was giving the rub to Logan, where do you go with Cena versus Cody? Because that's obviously going to be something down the track. How does Truth get involved with that? Does he help Cody? Is he Ron Killings now? Is he?
Well, yes, according to wweshop.com, he's Ron Killings now. So
yeah, there's a lot I think that came from this show, and like in general, huge weekend of wrestling from WWE. Yeah. I think they nailed it with the SmackDown stuff, with all the multi-segments leading into the pay-per-view. They nailed it with Worlds Collide. That was so much fun for the Lucha Libre stuff. And then the Money in the Bank matches, although they weren't quite the 5-star spectacles that we all wanted, they plot-driven, story-driven, they did exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Shall we pivot now onto...
No, you should wrap it up. That's our reviews.
Okay, fine. We'll wrap it up then.
You want to see the rest of the stuff that we talk about while Reece is away, you have to watch our other podcast, which you can see down here in our little list of things. Go jump on our YouTube.
Yeah.
See the other videos we've got for us, and then come and chat to us on Discord and ask Reece about all his photos from Japan trip, because there's a really cute photo of him in a kimono. You're going to want
big
to see
hairy chest out for the world to see as well. Love it. Love them big hairy bears, don't you?
Well, that took a turn, didn't it?
Thank you for tuning in. We have been Down Under the Mat. This has been Mr. Dan Danielson. I have been Rowdy Roddy Reece. This has been our thoughts and feelings and review of AAA, WWE, NXT, Worlds Collide, and Money in the Bank. We will see you next time Down Under the Mat.